All right, so here is Unit 1, Lesson 7. We're going to, and if you see it says Advanced Word Problems number 1. We actually have 2 days of this. We're going to do with Advanced Word Problems. The learning targets, I can rewrite a variable in terms of a second variable, and I can set up and solve word problems involving 2 different variables. So in the 2 lessons, we will be setting up and solving more advanced word problems. The first example is below. So the sum of 3 consecutive integers is 147. Find those 3. So this is saying that there are 3 unknown numbers that add up to 147. And they can't be the same numbers. We don't want to just divide by 3. That'll give you one number, but we want to find all of them. So therefore, the equation we get from this is the first number x plus the second number y plus the third number z equals 147. However, we have no way of solving this since there are 3 variables. Okay, we need it to be one variable. If you have one variable, you can isolate it and find out what it equals. But if there's 3 variables, we learned in the couple of lessons ago, we could get a number by itself, but it would equal other variables. That's not, we want the number. So to fix this problem, we need to find a relationship between the variables so that we can rewrite each variable. In this case, we don't want y and z, so we want to write that in terms of another variable. So we want to write y in terms of x and z in terms of x. Okay, so how we're going to do that is we have x plus y plus z equals 147. So we'll let x is the first number, and then y is the second number. It would be, if they're consecutive numbers, it's just one more than x. So I could let x be x, but then let y be x plus 1. So it's going to be one more than the first number. And then z, which is the third number, that's 2 more than the first number. Okay, so it's 1 more than this, so it'd be plus 1 to that, or it could be this plus 2. Okay, so there we took y equals x plus 1. So I rewrote it in terms of x. And then z is x plus 2. So we rewrote it. So now I have a variable. If I plug these in, so for x I put x, for y I'm going to put x plus 1 instead. And then instead of z, I'm going to put x plus 2. And this equals 147. Okay? So therefore, our new equation becomes this. Or, if I add up like terms, I got x plus x plus x, that's 3x. Then plus 1 plus 2 is actually plus 3 equals 147. Well, now I can solve for x. There's one variable. That I can easily isolate and find out what the number is. So if I solve this guy, or I should say solve this guy, so 3x plus 3 equals 147. Subtract 3, subtract 3. Okay, that's 144. And then divide that by 3, and I get 48. So when we solve for x, we get 48. So the 3, that's the first number, by the way. That's the first. The second one is 1 more than that. So 48 plus 1 is 49. 48 plus 2 is 50. So 48, 49, 50. Want to double check it? Add those up. So if I add those up, it equals 147. Okay. Next one. So we've got the sum of 3 consecutive integers. That just means they're right in a row. They're consecutive. The sum is 2,730. So guessing and checking for this would not be much fun. We don't want to just guess and check. Well, if you have 3 consecutive numbers, so I got the first number plus 1 more than that number plus 2 more than the original number. So here's the first, second, and third. When I add those up, I get 2,730. Okay, so kind of same idea here. X plus x plus x is 3x. 1, 2, 3. So it'd be 3x plus 3 equals 2,730. Now let's solve it. Subtract 3. It's 2727. If I divide by 3, my first number is going to be 909. One more than that is 910. One more than that is 911. Quickly double check, add those up in your calculator. It is 2,730. The sum of 4 consecutive integers is 862, and I just want to know what the largest one is. So they're just saying, what's the largest? Okay. Well, set it up the same way. So my equation, I'm going to have my first number plus one more than that because they're consecutive, plus 2 more than the original number, plus 3 more than the original number. That equals 862. Okay, so solving the variable. Well, put my work over here. I got x plus x plus x plus x. And then I got 1 plus 2 plus 3 is 6. That equals 862. This is 456. Oh, 856. 856 divided by 4. So when I solve for this, x equals 214. So the 4 numbers then are 214, 215, 216, 217, which means the largest is 217. So just be careful what they're asking for. You know, make sure that you answer the question they're asking for, and don't accidentally just put the first number. We want to make sure you put down what they're saying. Okay. Now the way we could change these problems. Now we've got the sum of 3 consecutive even numbers. So you think even numbers are like 2, 4, 6, and so on. Those are 2 units apart. So if the first one was x, this would be x plus 2 and x plus 4. It's going to be 2 more, 2 more, 2 more. You just keep adding 2 every time. The same thing is going to be true if it's odd. Okay, so when we get down to the odds, it's going to be pretty much the same thing. So write any 3 consecutive integers on the line. So I'll say 8, 10, and 12. What do you notice? They increase by 2 every time. Okay, so if the first even integer is x, the second one's going to be 2 more than that. The third one's going to be 4 more than that. Okay, so to answer this question up here, I'm going to have x plus 2 plus x plus 4 equals negative 72. So x plus x plus x is 3x. Plus 6 equals negative 72. Subtract 6. So 3x would equal negative 78. And then divide by 3. So that'd give me a negative 26. And the next one, so think about this, the next even integer is not negative 28. That'd be the one before it. It'd be add 2 to that. So negative 24. Negative 22. Okay, so consecutive, you're adding 2 every time. The sum of 4 consecutive odd is 344. What are 3? Write any 3 consecutive odd. So let's say 5, 7, and 9. What do you notice? They also increase by 2 between each integer. So they're also increasing by 2. So if the first one is x, the second one's going to be x plus 2, the third one's going to be x plus 4, and then x plus 6. It's going to be 6 more. Just keep adding 2 every time. So answer the question. X plus 2 plus x plus 4 plus x plus 6 equals 344. Add up like terms. I got 4 x's. 2 plus 4 plus 6 is 12. Okay, now I'm going to solve for x. So subtract 12. So 4x equals 332 divided by 4. That's going to be 89. They just want to know what's the largest, I'm sorry, not 89. I'm a step ahead of myself here. So 332 divided by 4 is 83. The question they want me to answer here, they said, what's the largest? Well, that's 83. So 83, 85, 87, 89. The largest is 89. Okay. Since consecutive even integers look the same as consecutive odd, what's the difference between them? The last number is the only difference. Okay, the last number is the only difference. Okay. Consecutive integers are not the only types of problems that require rewriting a variable in terms of another variable, but they provide good practice to the skill. So below is another example of when the skill is needed. Roger cut a 200 centimeter board into 2 pieces. The larger piece was 5 more than double the shorter piece. So what's the length of the 2 boards? Okay, so think you have a board that is 200 centimeters, and we cut it. One of them you have to name X. Okay, so one of them just call X. So this length is X. The larger piece is 5 more than, so 5 more than double the shorter piece, double X. Okay, so there's my 2. So I know that if I add these 2 pieces together, X plus 2X plus 5, that total length equals 200. Okay, combine like terms, so 3X plus 5 equals 200. Subtract 5, so 3X equals 195. Divided by 3, I get 65. So that's the shorter board, 65. By the way, this goes down there as your equation. So if the shorter board is 65, plug that in here. So 2 times 65 plus 5. Whoops, get off the screen here. So 2 times 65 plus 5, and that's going to give you 135. Okay, so practice these. Again, we try to keep them kind of all the same today. Then tomorrow they're going to get a little bit more difficult. But yeah, we're going to try to figure these out before we move on to tomorrow's.